What a year it has been. We've experienced many highs and lows, made some new connections, and unfortunately lost some as well. Let this Christmas season remind us of what is really important being here to celebrate with our loved ones, whether in a big or small way. This is Roleza, and I'm wishing everyone a safe and blessed Christmas season.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
I heard your Christmas singing this yesterday.
Good morning, St. Vincent and Grenadines. The time is now 7:16, and it's time for Activated Mornings this morning. With me in studio, of course, is Roleza Samuel, and you're listening to the voice of Ari Shaw. Good morning, Roleza.
Hey, hey, hey.
Try that intros.
From Fat Albert.
Yeah,
Hey.
I told Crystal I want to do a drop. I want to have my thing say, it's WEFM 99.9, and she's like, no, we're not doing that. All right, cool. But
I agree, Crystal.
We will do it.
We're not doing it.
We will do it. Good morning to everyone on their way to work, school this morning, just starting your day. Had a shout out Duppy over at Tusty and Ronald over at Braxter. Good morning to everybody in the diaspora listening.
Let me hear how you pronounce that. Say it again.
Well,
Let me hear
Braxter.
Say it again.
Braxter.
It always sounds like there's a slight T in it.
Nothing is Braxter.
It's Braxter, but I don't know. When you say this, sound like it has a slight T in it. And I know you're going to say Melis. But anyways.
I can't tell nobody about this, man. This
It's you about your list.
Yeah, good morning, St. Vincent. So, of course, we have to talk about the main story this week, I would say, so far. The charge withdrawn against woman accused of throwing missiles when the PM was injured. Now, I'm reading here from Eyewitness News. That's the headline I just read. So I'm going to read the first few paragraphs at the beginning of the story, which is, the prosecution today, Wednesday, which is yesterday, withdrew the charge against a woman accused of throwing missiles in Kingston on August 5th, 2021, the day when Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves was struck in the head and injured in the city during protests against a then-pending COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Prosecutor Acting Corporal of Police Caroline Samuel withdrew the charge at the Kingston Magistrate's Court today. That was yesterday, of course. The date Magistrate John Balla had given in August, as the final adjournment of the matter. The withdrawal of the matter means that the prosecution can reinstate the charge against the accused, Annamay Lewis, a 50-year-old vendor of Layu. However, her lawyer, Kebakas Batiste, told Eyewitness News that she had no fear that the charge would be reinstated against her client. Too much time had passed, she told Eyewitness News. She said that when the matter was called, the prosecution indicated that a witness who was critical to the Crown's case was still not available. She further told Eyewitness News that based on the magistrate's comment, it was clear that he was going to dismiss the charge. She went on to indicate that when he said that an adjournment is a final adjournment, he means it, regardless of which party might not be ready. He further indicated that the prosecution had known that its witness was out of state, but had not even made an application for his evidence to be heard by video link. Samuel indicated that because of the nature of the evidence that the witness was expected to give, his physical presence would be required in court, as he would have to point out certain distances. What are your thoughts on this, Roleza?
I'm not surprised. That's just my one sentence thought on it. I'm not surprised that the case was dismissed. In the first place, I really wondered how much solid evidence they had against this lady. Was it a case where somebody needed to be charged and she was unfortunately the person to be charged? From the very beginning, I was curious of how much evidence they really had against her. So to see it come down to this now, I'm not surprised.
For me, if it is that she did not throw the missile, then good for you. Case dismissed. Happy for you. I am disappointed that nobody was charged for this because
Right.
I was out of state when this happened and it was embarrassing.
Well,
To
not
say
just
the
that.
least.
I think not just a case of it being embarrassing for me.
You know, you need to
It
practice.
was
Let me
well for you.
finish.
Oh God, sorry. I honestly
So
thought you're done.
no,
Sorry.
it was
Woo!
embarrassing. And on top of that, I personally feel like there should not be a case where the nation's leader could be attacked and face physical damages
Yeah.
and nothing come of it. Something should have come out of this. Somebody should have been found. Whoever threw it, if it's not this lady, should have been found, and they should have faced the full force of the law. This is the representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the outer world, regardless of how you feel inside St. Vincent. The Prime Minister, the Governor General should not be attacked. That's just how I feel about it.
Talk
I'm
no.
finished. Yes.
Oh Lord, yes. Okay, so yes, Ari, I'm in agreement, and it's not just even necessarily public figures within government itself. Nobody should be attacked, right? Nobody at all should be attacked. I thought, as you said, it was embarrassing, and it was petty and small to me, right? Because even if that's a protest action is going on, whoever is walking through the crowd, whether you're an NDP supporter, ULP supporter, Green Party supporter, DRP supporter, I think it's DRP, anyway, whatever.
Don't
And I
minimize
don't
the
mean
people
no,
party.
and I'm not saying whatever to be dismissive. I apologize if it came across sounding that way. The thing of it is that it doesn't matter. You know, persons can hold opposing political views, whether or not for a particular individual who holds a public office. The point of it is that nothing like this should have ever happened. And yes, I'm in agreement with you that it's unfortunate that no one has been charged for this. I guess maybe it lends to us wondering about, are there enough security cameras around town, right? Because something like this should have been picked up because there are several businesses around, even in market, the different businesses that are close by, in close vicinity. You know, how come nothing was picked up? So is there enough camera surveillance within Kingston, you know, by itself? That's another separate topic. But I mean, the thing of it is that, you know, whether or not we were in agreement with what was happening at the time, for this to happen to a prime minister, for this to happen to a minister of government, for this to happen to any public official or any person within a national or citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, this should not be happening. And whether you hold high or low office, the point is something like this should not have happened, and somebody should have been brought to justice on account of it.
So Lewis came to national attention in September 2021 after she was charged with wounding. So I remember that was her first charge, wounding the Prime Minister during a protest in Kingstown on August 5th. However, the charge was withdrawn in September 15th. I think the main problem in this case is that, one, there's no video evidence. Two, the witness didn't show up. And three, it is very hard to prove that someone threw something from a crowd without both. But you're right, and I really hope that the CCTV comes sooner than later, because I really do not want to believe that a protest could happen. And so it isn't just St. Vincent and the Grenadines these things happen. I remember the reporter throwing the shoe at President Bush. I mean, things happen, right? But I don't feel like, but as soon as that reporter threw that shoe, he was tackled and Secret Services was there immediately.
Yeah. But you know,
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. But you know what was also up for discussion at the time was it a wise decision for the Prime Minister to walk through the crowd at the time, given what was happening?
I don't think it was at all. I don't think it was at all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is that, yes, we are generally a peaceful, we generally have peaceful protesters, but given the heightened tension, I suppose, that was happening on that particular day, was it a wise decision? Regardless of whether or not we consider it to be a wise decision, the attack still should not have happened.
Nope. Yeah, Joshua said the same thing. I was saying leaders get attacked all over the world, but it doesn't make it right. And I would have really liked to see some justice from this. This was absolute nonsense. Now we don't know if it was the what's the name, Annamay Lewis. We don't know if it was Annamay Lewis that threw the missile. But I would have really, truly loved to see some justice from this. But we'll see.
And given that it's been going on, so well, it's 2 years now. I mean, for something like this, yeah, it needs to be put to rest, you know. So
yeah, because if it isn't her, it would have been affecting her daily life. Let's see what her occupation is. I don't even remember.
I think
it's
a vendor, right? I think,
Okay.
and
Oh no, she's okay.
and I think recently there was another story. I think she had a stall on the waterfront of Leo. Somebody might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the stall was taken down as well. So, persons will wonder if it's a case of victimization. But yeah, another story.
Another story for another day.
Yeah.
Speaking on court, former commissioner of police to be sworn in as senior magistrate on December 1st, according to Asbot News Network. Now, although I know that the former commissioner, Colin John, is quite qualified for this post, he was, in fact, assistant to the DPP for a number of years before. Well, he was, from what I understand, he was a police force. Then he went to the DPP's office. So then he came back as commissioner of police. Now, after resigning in August, I think it was, he is now, according to Asbot News, he is now to become a senior magistrate on December 1st, which is tomorrow. I'm very curious to see which court he's going to be the senior magistrate in, because if I remember correctly, the senior magistrate is Rashawn Brown. So if it is serious offenses court, I'm very interested to see if it is that Rashawn Brown is going to be replaced. More importantly, I strongly believe that police officers should not be magistrates. And a clear example of this, to me, is Bertie Pompey. Bertie Pompey, as a journalist sitting in the court, and I don't know if anybody else will come out and say it publicly, but he is horrible at his job. He is not good as a magistrate.
I can't comment.
Sitting in court and listen to this man, and and this is me being totally unbiased. He was even the magistrate in the issue I had with police, and I don't think that as a magistrate he operates as a magistrate. I feel like he operates as a former police officer, and that's dangerous if you're going to hold that sort of post. So if you're going to hold the post coming in understanding from the police perspective and siding with the police, what hope is it for citizens who are being brought on petty charges? Because that's what Kingston Magistrate was. I think Bertie Pompey is at another court on the windward side of the island. I don't remember which one as I'm speaking. But I really do think these police officers becoming magistrates is very dangerous when it comes to due process and actually finding justice in the court.
So what are your current thoughts on Bala?
I think Bala is a good magistrate. Ricky Burnett was a very good magistrate.
Was Ricky Burnett a police officer as well?
I'm trying to remember.
Okay, so let's focus on Bala, because Bala was a police officer.
Yeah, I think Bala is a good magistrate. I don't know if anybody else could attest to being treated unfairly. I have never sat in never sat in court and listened to him deliberate. But
well, he was recently appointed, and to be so as I said, I can't necessarily give an opinion whether I'm in agreement with you or not, because I am not a part of the court process. Was never part of the court process in that way, right? But from what I'm seeing so far with Bala is that he has been trying. He is trying, or he has on board, because that's in case that not the persons already as of yesterday, so it's not a case when he's necessarily in favor of the police or he's in favor of the other side. I find so far that he has been trying. I mean, there have been maybe one or two instances where I thought that he was a bit harsh in his sentencing, right? But I mean, one of the other things too is that I leave room for soaking in, right? Soaking into a position.
No, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. The thing with Colin John, though, it makes me curious, and this is why. Now, this is not to take away from his qualifications.
He's definitely qualified.
This is not to take away from him potentially doing an effective job.
Mm-hmm.
I just think what is interesting is that I honestly thought that he was going to take like a 6 months break before doing something else, before finding something else. And now it makes me curious with the speed in which this has happened. Was this already lined up for him upon the point of resigning from the police or retiring from the
was this the reason?
Or was it the reason, right? And we also have to look at instances where it has been alleged, or it's generally said, that, he tends to seem to be a bit more favored towards the ULP side, right? Whether or not that is true, yes or no, we don't know. But the point is that, is it a case where, in a sense, favored persons already have things lined up for them, right? And I don't know. It's just the public perception.
Sound like
It's just no. I know. Listen to me. I get my information from comments, okay? From the comments section of Facebook. So, whether or not that is the case, I want to be able to, as always, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. So let's see what happens in the position. It's just that the optics of certain things doesn't always fare well with us as the Vincentian public, or as Vincentians. Okay.
I know, I agree. Someone says here on the live, I'll say that quickly before we break. Do we have, there's a question. Do we have too much police? I think that's too many ex-police as magistrates. That, I believe we have way too many.
But it's how many? Because I really don't know. I know of Bala, mentioned Pompey.
Well, maybe we'll get a list.
We don't get lists in Vinci.
No, I'm pretty sure we could come up with a list, or maybe hopefully ask about Kenton is listening and create a little short story for us. Let's put that out there, fellas.
The stats.
Let's give us a little study the stats, But we're gonna break now. We'll be back at 7:35 with traffic talk, followed by commentary by Cian Marshall at 7:45, and of course Cop Chat at 8:05 when we're back. So don't touch that dial. Or stay tuned on the live. Or
come back
soon.
All right.
All right.
Shop Atlanta.